brought to you by AgriSpark Ghana, and we intend to hold conversations like this to ignite the interest of the youth in agriculture. And so if you are here, you are part of us, and we are hoping to have a great show. Today's topic is challenges being faced by youth in agriculture and then how we can solve them. And then my speakers for today is a beautiful lady from Nigeria. She's by the name Husseina. In fact, she's going to do an introduction herself. And I also have Shilisha from Costa Rica, who is also joining us, and he is also an agricultural student. And I also have Jaden, who is also joining us from Ghana. And so I will start with ladies first. So I will start with Husseina. So Husseina, if you can do a brief introduction for my listeners, we really appreciate.
Okay. I thought I already done that.
Yes,
I was not
that
able
was before backdoor. So now we are doing official introduction.
Okay, an official
Yeah.
introduction.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Omar Husseina Anazasi. I'm from Nigeria. I am an animal scientist, an SDG advocate, an extensionist, and agricultural assistant at the moment. So, thank you all for this opportunity, and thank you all for being here, for making it possible for this program to start at the right time. So I greet everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Husseina.
you. Thank you, AgriSpark Ghana, for this opportunity.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and being here with us. Sulisha.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Tulisha Malichi. I am originally from Zambia, and I'm currently studying agriculture science at ETH University in Costa Rica.
Oh.
I'm an ambassador for the Next Generation Agriculture Impact Network, where we basically do and work similar to what you're doing, promoting agriculture, talking about agriculture, young people in agriculture. And generally, I'm a young leader. So thank you very much for the invitation. I greet everyone present and also my fellow speakers. Yeah, looking forward to a very interesting conversation, learning a lot from you and also sharing what I have to share.
Thank you so much, Sulisha. Now over to you, Jaden. Hello, Jay, can you hear me? Okay, so we've lost Jaden. I'm sure it's a network. Okay, so we've lost Jaden, but we'll get into the conversation, and as and when he joins, he will do the introduction and then jump into the conversation where we've got into. I would want to start with Tulisha. Challenges faced by the youth. You are an agricultural student, and I'm sure you've been going around um, experiencing and then engaging stakeholders, even your fellow colleague youths. From your experience and then where you find yourself, what are some of the challenges that the youth voiced out when it comes to the agricultural sector?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Yes, through the Next Generation Agriculture Impact Network, I've had the opportunity of being around, attending some events, talking about agriculture and about young people. And for me, I'd like to start by putting it in a general way. Right? So whenever I talk about the challenges that young people face in agriculture, everything starts with the brand that agriculture has, how agriculture is taught, or how people or how agriculture is spoken of, or what we hear about agriculture. As we know, agriculture is unattractive to young people. Very few people talk about wanting to venture into agriculture because of what we hear. We hear about so many challenges in agriculture, and because of that, we're discouraged. So, among the challenges, I would like to talk about the access to finance and also access to mentors. Because if all of us here have got brilliant ideas, but we do not have access to finances, we do not have access to funds to kick off our ideas, our projects, and everything, it's going to be hard for us to even think about venturing into the sector. So despite having all that brilliance and ideas and everything, it's really hard. And sometimes there might be funding opportunities available, let's say getting loans from banks, but it is very hard to access those loans because, as in agriculture, is very risky. So how does a young person just present himself at the bank and decide to apply for a loan?
Yeah.
So all those are some of the challenges in terms of financing that I think young people face. And then in terms of mentorship, I think in agriculture, many young people lack mentors. Now, mentors are people who've gone through who've done what we're trying to do, who've done something similar. People who are going to show us or guide us as we go on that journey of venturing into agriculture or venturing into the food systems and trying to do, trying to implement projects or trying to start farming. So I think when there's lack of mentorship, in as much as someone can have a brilliant idea, I think they might end up failing because there's no one to really guide them on how to approach certain things. So for me, I think those are the two major problems, according to my own experience, that I think young people face in agriculture. There are a lot more, but those are the ones that I want to highlight at the moment.
Thank you so much for Tulisha sharing your point of view from where you find yourself and then your experience. Now, Christina, in fact, you are a female, and when we mention some of the challenges in agriculture, it's most often targeted to females or ladies.
Yeah, you're right.
Share your experience with us when it comes to the challenges that the youths are facing, especially ladies in the agricultural space.
Okay. Um, youths are facing a lot when it comes to agriculture. Um, in some aspect and in some areas, when you're from some certain part of the country where I come from, where they feel like the women are to stay at home and do nothing. They are to be full housewives. Aside that, just like I said, finances. There are lots of finances issues, inadequate access to funds, mentorship, like he said as well, and internship as well. So all my life I've worked as an extension agent due to my experience. I've met with people. In my own country is a country where the opportunities are not given to the right people. In my country, you might study agriculture. Opportunity for agriculture will come, you will not get it because like this thing called connection. You have to be connected with people before you can have access to such opportunity. And lack of funding, land, you can't land is now an asset. We all
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Like land is now an asset. You can't just go on just like during the days of our forefathers, land is very, very available that they can get. Then the land is losing its fertility as time goes on, as years goes by. So we are trying to revive agriculture in a way, in a more technological way that, okay, before we venture into anything, okay, you need to know, okay, let me get a perfect somebody that is good in science and in tech, that can assess, that can know that, okay, is this land that we are going to venture it, is it fertile? So that you don't just venture into something and at the end of the day, you are going to lose your money. And that is one of the mistakes that lack of information. I'll put that as lack of information. You
Yeah.
understand? So lack of information, and we do more of theory than practical in this country. You just go to a class, they teach you agric is this, agric is that, animal is this, animal is that. You have very limited access to practicals. So when such people graduate from the university, they will not find the environment conducive for them because they don't really know what they study. It's part
They're
of
not
the thing that
equipped enough.
they are not well equipped. So it's part of the thing that is pulling the youth back. So everyone, and in these days that we are, everybody wants to make money, stay at home, no stress. Nobody really wants to venture into what they studied. You understand? So nobody wants to go to the farm. Everybody wants to live an easy life, which is not so. So we are running away from most of us are running away from what we studied in school. what we call our passion, what we venture into. So, and at the end of the day, you can see the scarcity of food and much more. We are talking about food security presently in this country that we need to. So, and I found out I've attended lots of workshops where you see more of people that are not even into agriculture. They are the ones who are attending this workshop. What are they doing there? Where are the youths? You get it. So these are part of the things that are the challenges that the youths are facing. So if the government can come together and decide that, okay, let's select this number of youth, let's train them, those that are really into agriculture, let's enable them, let's equip them with the right facilities that they need, let them undergo a training under any organization or institute that is basically for agriculture. Let's train them and establish them so that they'll be on their own. They'll turn to smallholder farmers. You know, most of the foods that we eat are coming from the smallholder farmers.
Yeah.
And when we talk the aspect of the mentorship that you talked about here in this
Now,
country,
Usina, we will come to the solutions. Now
okay, sorry.
let's no problem, no problem. Let's go to Jaden to explore from his end some of the
Okay,
challenges that he has been able to identify from where he is. So
okay,
Jaden, if you can hear me, kindly do a brief intro because you missed that part, and then you chip in some of the challenges that are facing the youth or faced by the youth in agriculture currently. Jaden, can you hear me?
Yes, AgriSpark, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so you do a brief intro because you missed that part when we're doing the brief intro. A brief intro for my listeners to get to know you, and then you come in with the challenges that are faced by youth in agriculture.
My name is Jaden Gideon Atobrakujo. I'm a fresh graduate from the University of Ghana, and then I majored in crop science. So let's say I'm a crop scientist. And then one thing I really like about today's topic is that someone and I found ourselves in a particular association, that's the Young Agripreneurs Forum. And one of our core values were to change mindset. So if I'm to talk about some of the major challenges our youth now are facing in agriculture, first, I will tackle our mindsets. And these mindsets, I would say the youth had it based on some one or two observations they made. For instance, you all know about the climate change.
Yeah.
In Ghana, and let's say even in Africa, our leaders fail to invest in these technologies and then machineries to help young people growing up venture into agriculture. Let's say a young guy growing up wants to start something in agriculture, let's say crop production. The guy has gotten this land and everything that the person needs to do his farm. But then because of unreliability of the weather, we don't know when it will rain. And even if this guy asks for greenhouse, fixing a greenhouse is so expensive. In Ghana, having a functional greenhouse, that's 100 by 80. You need about 40,000 Ghana cedis. That's about $1,000+. And imagine a fresh graduate like me who wants to venture into crop production. Where am I going to find that money? So first, I'll tackle our leaders' their misplaced priority in not investing in technology and this modernization, and then our access to land. Currently, even to get a land to build is not an easy thing.
Okay.
So
I think Hussein also mentioned that.
As young people growing up, if we are not having access to these lands that we will start something and if you want to start a consulting firm for agriculturists, you need a land, or if not a land, you need to rent a space. You need an office space. In Accra, rent is so expensive to the extent that at East Airport, if you need a plot of land to even build, you need about $200,000 to acquire a plot of land. A fresh graduate, I always use myself as an example because I'm going through it. A fresh graduate is like I just completed. I'm a crop scientist. I want to venture into crop production. Where am I going to find this land to even start? And then I am, as we are talking, I won't also forget the training, mentorship, and education. Many young farmers like myself, we lack the access to education, training, and mentorship programs that could help them build their skills and knowledge. In Ghana, I'm in Ghana, so forgive me if I continue using the Ghana setting. We have students or young people who are really interested in agriculture, but how to even go by it, it's a whole different thing. Last year, I met a particular young guy like myself, but he didn't get a chance to go to school. He was into this mining stuff, and he has some money. He wants to venture into farming. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He said he started poultry farm some time back, all the poultry that because he didn't have the technical know-how.
Okay.
Our leaders didn't give any lay down on the, if you are a child or if you're a young guy, you want to venture into this, probably there are these procedures you can follow, you can get this training, this skill sets. We don't have such things. And then it's going against us. And then also, I won't forget our policy, the policies that we have in Africa. Currently, as a young guy, if you want to go to a bank and even take a loan to start something, one, the interest rates are so high that you might end up bankrupting your business. Things that I think is really a challenge for the youth. And if you find a way to navigate them, it will help us go very far.
Thank you so much, Jaden. In fact, it looks like almost everything that is shared by all our three speakers were quite similar or in a way related, even though we find ourselves in different parts of the world. This is telling us that every single problem that somebody in Ghana is going through when it comes to the agriculture setting is quite similar to somebody also in Nigeria and then Zambia, as well as Costa Rica, probably. And so we've looked at the challenges, but I believe that in sight of these challenges, there should be some opportunities. And so coming up or being able to pinpoint the opportunities is you tailoring solutions to the problems that are at hand. Shalisha, from the
Yes.
solutions or the problems that you mentioned, how can we come up with solutions, if not from those that we're expecting that solutions to come from them? Probably we're expecting the government to do something about financing when it comes to agriculture and then the youth, but it is not coming. What can we do as youth to be able to come up with solutions ourselves?
All right. Thank you very much. I think before I go to the solutions, let me just mention one last challenge that I think we've not really touched, and that is youth inclusion in agriculture. I know this point talks about a little bit of what we've mentioned, but then if we look at events around the world that are talking about agriculture, even in our own countries, the events that are talking about agriculture, how many youths do we have present in those events, talking about their realities, talking about what they're facing? So mostly we find that some of these events that happen to talk about agriculture, to talk about the future of agriculture, don't really include the young people who are the future of agriculture. So I think that is a problem. If we are to find solutions, remember we are in the food systems and we're trying to feed the growing population. And in the near future, we are the ones who are going to be leaders. We're the ones who are going to be leading the food systems. I think now is the time for us to be included in all the decision-making processes so that our realities can be brought out there. So decisions are not made without us when we are the ones who are going to face the harsh realities that we are going to be facing in the near future. Now, going to the solutions, I like that you mentioned what can we do, because and instead of us just waiting for what is going to be done for us, but what can we do to ensure that we find solutions to some of the problems that we are facing. I think from my experience, I think what I've found out is there are a number of organizations around the world that offer funding for young people, not only in agriculture, but in young people with social ventures. For example, I just shared a link right now, the one I mentioned earlier, about the moonshot. Those are some of the initiatives that are there to help young people access funding. But then when it comes to such opportunities, I think there's something else which is also a problem. We don't really profile to find out who is the target, or what are we trying to get, because of many strict requirements. For example, if I'm applying for, let's say, $5,000 US, there'll be a lot of requirements that I need to have in order for me to win that particular competition. So if I am competing with people who've got ventures that are developed or that are in later stages, myself as a young person starting out, it will be very hard for me to win such a competition, to win such funding, because the same opportunity, it's just going to everyone. So I think a solution here is, that's for the organizations that offer funding. If they can profile, or they can say, okay, this particular funding is for these people, maybe let's say early stages or ideas, or people you separate them so that the competition is reduced. That is one way of helping young people have access to these funding. Now, when you have got an opportunity to access funding, we need to improve the quality of our submissions for those funding opportunities. Okay. We need to ensure that we follow the requirements, we put in everything that is needed, so that we can be able to at least have a higher chance of winning, or of getting that funding opportunity. The other thing I would like to mention is networking. So I mentioned earlier in the problem, or in the challenges, to say one challenge we face is mentorship. So instead of us waiting for because I don't think mentors are going to come to us and say, would you like to be mentored, or things like that. We can take the initiative of seeking out mentors, and we can do so through networking. So networking is where we go to some of these events that we have access to. For example, in my country, we've got the Agriculture and Commercial Show. We can go there. We have access to different stakeholders in the agriculture sector. We can talk to them. We can explain to them what we're doing, about our social ventures, or about what we are planning to do in agriculture. Through networking, we're able to have access to the mentors. We're also able to have access to the funding opportunities. And now some tips when it comes to networking. If we go, for example, to these agriculture events, let's try to talk to as many people as possible, but also try to leave an impression on the people that we talk to, so that they're able to remember us. Because if you talk to so many people but leave no impression, then you're not going to create that connection with anyone. So you can talk to a few people that are really that have something related to you. Then you can build that relationship. And then when it comes to funding opportunities, to asking for funding, one thing I learned in one of these events is, sometimes you do not really ask for money, or ask for, like, you're asking for something. You can start by asking for advice. Let's say you are a graduate, you want to venture into agriculture, you've got a project idea. So instead of saying, I'm asking for 5,000 from this person you've just met at an event, start by asking for advice. Or, I'm trying to do this, what do you think? Or, I'm asking for advice. Through that, the people are going to get connected with you. They're going to understand you. They're going to give out the advice. And then as you build your relationship, later on, they might even offer to connect you to people who can help you have access to funding, and who can even sort out other problems that you have. We also need to connect with each other. We are all students, connect with other students. As we connect with other people, we are connecting to other networks, and we might never know what someone might have in their network. And also, it's important to start small as we are planning, or as we try to do anything. Try to start small, in as much as we've got big ideas, visions. Let's start small. For example, the last farming season, I came together with my friends. We raised some money and we decided to start small, to start a small farming project, even if it did not really work because of the challenges we've talked about, like climate change and all that. But the point here is we started small and we were able to raise some money as a group of friends and we did something. So instead of us waiting and waiting, we can also start small, which leads me to the last point, which is as you apply for funding, as you try to access all these opportunities, ensure that you begin. Start working on that project idea, start working on whatever it is that you're doing, so that you've got a proof of concept, so that you can show someone who is gonna invest or give you the funding that you've already started. It shows that you are working on something. So it's different when I'm applying for funding opportunities and then I have got nothing to show that I've started, and someone who's applying for the same funding opportunities but they've got a proof of concept and they're showing the person that we've started. We only need this assistance so that we can scale up or do something else. So yeah, so those are some of the ways I think we can, from our part as youths, we can approach the solutions as we wait for other solutions from external factors or external sources.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Silisha. Christina, females
Yeah.
have a lot of challenges. So how can we address those challenges inside of we expecting stakeholders to also come into our aid?
Okay. I'm not going to say that Alicia has already said a lot, just like it's speaking my mind, everything that is deep down inside my mind. But I'm still going to contribute one way or the other to what he has said. But it's going to sound like almost is similar, like just like you said, that it seems you are
It
facing
might
the
it
same
might be the same, but it might take a different form. So it's
form and
absolutely
direction. So I was thinking in a way that if we can come together, like we the like minds, or I myself can start up a project where I select youths, the undergraduates, for an advocate program where they will advocate about agriculture. Then we move from schools to schools to talk to the teachers from primary school, secondary school, down to the university, so that we can see if there is one way or the other that we can help, so that they will be well equipped, so that when they come out, they are not looking for a job, they will be a job curators. When it comes to funding, when it comes to agriculture, it's really hard to get funding and investment in agriculture. Just like you said, you have to start, you have to push the struggle before you can see one or two persons that really want to invest into what you are doing. But you have to have a good networking ability. You have to network with people of like minds from different countries or even within your country. You have to network with them, then let them know your vision and your prospect of what you want to do. Then you have to they have to and youth have to learn how to how to manage their project. Come up with a project idea. Come up with your project management idea. How do you want to manage this your project? How do you want to start it? Where do you want to start it? How are you going to get your input to start it? By doing all these things, and the government should come out with a program or a scheme where they will select graduates, youth in agriculture, for a program where they will learn more about what they think they knew, what they think they already know. They add more knowledge to them. Then they set them up, give them land to build themselves, to start from there. So we have a lot to do when it comes to agriculture. When it comes to youth in agriculture, we really have a lot to do. We have to keep pushing. It's not greener out there. You have to be patient. You have to be persistent. You have to keep pushing yourself and believe that you can do it. When it comes to agriculture, youth in agriculture, the youth are on their own, but you have to push harder. When you push harder, people will notice you. So that's all I want to say for today. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Hussein. Now,
Thank you.
Jaden, you mentioned a lot of challenges that we are facing as youth in the agricultural space. Before we wait for the solutions from the stakeholders. What can we do as youth to be able to overcome these challenges? Hello, Jaden.
Samuel. Hello,
Yes,
Samuel.
yes, I can now hear you.
Uh-huh. So about the challenges that we are facing. So I believe that as young people who are passionate about agriculture, we must adopt multiple approaches to address the challenges we are facing. For instance, I think we have to enhance our skills and then our knowledge through capacity building programs like the KIC Agri-Tech Challenge, the 4-HU Development Program, or the National FFA organization that some NGOs have been holding.
Jaden, we can't hear you, so if you can make a change a little bit, we'll really appreciate. Hello, Jaden. Okay, so before Jaden comes in with his submission, um, thank you so much to our listeners. In fact, this show is this show because of you guys. We want to give you the opportunity to also come in with your submission questions and suggestions to today's topic. And so if you are
Hello.
doing, yes, Jay, thank you so much for joining back. So before we go to Jaden, kindly drop in the comment section your question, your submission, everything that you think about today's topic and the show. Kindly drop it in the chat box. If not, we'll give the opportunity. You raise up your hand and then you also contribute to the show. Jaden, you can continue from here.
So additionally, I believe we can also research and then get access to resources such as affordable credits through initiatives like the USDA's Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program. And then also this same KIC thing. One thing that I find wrong with the coming generation, that is us, is that we don't like to read. There are lots of opportunities out there, but to research, read, and then grab those opportunities is something that you are not good with. So I believe once we do all this research and then we gain access to these resources, it will take us very far. And then also, I'm excited to promote modernization and technology adoption, like the precision agriculture and vertical farming, to streamline our work and make farming more efficient. And then I believe once we do the research and then we read more into agriculture, all these things, they're on the internet. I know this woman who started farming, fish farming, and then everything that the woman knows now, she learned it from YouTube.
Wow.
So the things are right at her fingertips. They are everywhere. But we prefer to rather go and then watch TikTok and then laugh and then do all those things. But we are Gen Z, so I get it. And furthermore, I also think that facilitating market access before we venture into anything, we should try and at least do some research, get a target market. We don't just venture because we've seen people going and then they are telling us that it's good. Before those people entered agriculture, we didn't know what they planned. We didn't know the laid down rules that they did. So as young people growing up, before we try to venture into anything, we should do our research, our target markets, serviceable, obtainable markets, all those things. We should really do research into it before venturing or doing any other thing. So I think that's some of the few things that as youth we can do to navigate our way through the challenges we are facing now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much to our speakers. In fact, they've shared a lot today. And so we are giving you, during the lesson, to also come in with your submission. It could be question, it could be suggestion. It could be anything at all that you think about today's topic and this show. Kindly drop it in the chat box. Now we have blessings coming in with a question. So this one, it goes to all our speakers. Blessing is asking that on the path for resource and opportunities for applying for funding, how can we help the youth in rural areas or the youth without gadgets? So Blessing is basically trying to ask that in as much as we have all the gadgets, we have all the funding support circulating, there are other people in the rural areas that know nothing about these resources or these opportunities. There are other people that don't have gadgets to access the internet. What can we do as youth to help them grab this opportunity or chance on this opportunity? So maybe Jaden, you can come in and then
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
In terms of that aspect, that's where the extension agent comes in. That is where the NGOs come. So the extension agent will link the farmer to the NGO, they are working with. Then the NGO will come to that location and assist the farmer.
Okay. So
I don't know if you understand.
okay, so I think Blessing is basically asking about how they can access the resources.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There are NGOs that give resources like money or loan to farmers.
Okay.
Then at the end of their harvest, then they are going to buy paddy from them. Then if there are any other balance remaining from their money from the harvest, they will give it back to them. While some give them input, that's where the extension agent comes in. They are the one that will go inside that area, sort for such farmers without phone, without internet, and you go to some parts of the country that you will not even find any network. There's no network connection there. So that is the work of the extension agent. You go to those places, sort out for those genuine farmers that you know that these people are genuine, they are sourcing for funds. Then you get back to the NGO you are working with, then they will come back to the person that is in need of that funds or input that they want to give out.
Beautiful. Tilisha, what do you also think? How can we help fellow youths that don't have access to the gadgets or are the rural areas that may not chance on these opportunities that we mentioned?
Okay, I think I would like to look at it from a different angle, which is young people who would like to access opportunities, for example, in terms of funding opportunities that are advertised online, but they cannot have access because they're not online, so they do not know about competitions where people are winning funding and things like that. I think that is a problem of information delivery, and this mainly comes on the part of the people advertising or giving out such opportunities. A practical example here of one thing of an organization that really does more, it's that of F University, the university I'm currently studying. So whenever F University does their admission processes, they advertise in the rural areas. So they go back, for example, Africa, they find a way of going to the rural areas to ensure that they advertise this opportunity of coming to study at F University to these people that are in the rural areas that do not have access to such information. So I think that can be a practical way that these organizations that offer funding, if they want to have that representation of everyone, they're supposed to push that information to ensure that it reaches everyone, including the youths in the rural areas, so that each one can be able to apply and be able to have access to such information.
Okay. That's interesting. Jaden, from your end, what can we do to help our fellow youths in this regard?
So I think one misconception that most of us, the youth, we have is we think agriculture is only about farm. But trust me, the agricultural value chain is so huge and long. So in the part, I think the first female speaker, please remind me of her name again.
Husina.
Yeah, please, pardon me if I'm not able to pronounce your name very well because I'm not very good with names. Husina, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So she made mention of the extension agents reaching out to these farmers and then lending a helping hand. And I think one thing we can also do to help our fellow youths who don't have access to the opportunities we have is that we should network with them. Someone can be in the northern region of Ghana, or like let's say a very rural part of wherever we are farming, and then we can network with this person and then sell the goods in the urban areas for him. So all the person does is once the harvest is ready, the person will liaise with us, we will get transportation, transport it, or you can even put them on or like connect them to people who do those things. I think that's the first step that we take. We should be able and willing to help our people or like our fellow agriculturists, fellow farmers, our fellow students who may be in need of our services.
Okay, so I'm guessing there are no further questions to be asked. Our speakers did very well to explain things to us, and so we are good to go as listeners.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So this goes to all the panelists. How can we change the perception of agriculture being an attractive career to young people?
Thank you so much, Blessings.
All right, you're welcome.
Jaden, how can we?
Hello.
Yes, I believe you heard Blessings' question.
That's how us we can help our fellow youth.
How we can? No, he just asked another question. How we can change the mindsets of the youth about agriculture being a lucrative business?
So I think first it will depend on how we carry ourselves. If you are going to sell something to someone and you don't carry yourself in a very good way, how would the person believe you? Because growing up, we thought agriculture wasn't lucrative and was a poor man's job because we see these farmers with their tattered clothes, with their dirty clothes, always wearing colors, always suffering. But growing up and then learning, you come to realize that agriculture goes beyond that. Agriculture goes beyond just the colors and whole. So to change the mindset of a fellow youth that see agriculture is very lucrative, I think we'll have to point them towards some prominent people. That's a way you can tell them about some prominent people who we see now who started from agriculture. Somebody like Aliko Dangote. I know people will definitely argue that he grew up from a wealthy family, but Aliko Dangote is who he is right now because of agriculture.
Sure.
He has a poultry farm. He does fertilizers. They are all parts of the agriculture value chain. Even here in Ghana, there are prominent people who we see now, and then they are where they are because of agriculture. So we should try and then get them to leave the mental slavery that they are in. That agriculture is a poor man's job. If you don't have money, trust me, you can't venture into agriculture. If anyone here has tried to even do just an acre or let's say even 100 by 100 meter farm, you get to know that it's very it's time constraint. You need time, you need money, you need a whole lot of things before you can even run just 100 by 100 garden. Fertilizer day in, day out is increasing. So I think all these are part of the reasons why people see agriculture as not lucrative because I'll invest all this money and then later, if I don't get a good climate, if the rain doesn't fall, and that's it. Forgetting that they have something we call irrigation. Someone will be, oh, so if I do all these and then later you see that my crops will be infested by pests and forgetting that we have something we call pest and disease control, right from seedling transplanting.
Yeah.
You can start doing pest and disease and protect your crops until they are ready for harvest without even encountering pest and disease. So I think it all comes down to the technical know-how and then our mentality. Once we try, before you try to convince someone or before you try to tell someone that agriculture is not only about farming, before you try to change someone's mindset, I think our mindset should be changed first. If you
Okay.
are still seeing yourself, if you are still seeing agriculture as something that is not lucrative, trust me, you can never convince someone to come into agriculture because you yourself, you don't believe in what you are doing.
Yeah.
So the first thing you should do, believe in ourselves, believe in agriculture, believe in what agriculture is about. Then we push that knowledge into the person. Then give the
Thank you,
person some
Jane.
statistics.
Okay.
Facts don't lie. So once you get the statistics, you are good to go.
Thank you, Jaden. Chilisha, how can we change fellow youth's mindset about agriculture? Because I believe that
Yeah,
that is
so
one way that we can also create the demand for agriculture, and that is the only way that the governments or stakeholders are also going to pay attention to our cry. How do we change the mindset?
just to add a few things, we need this shift or change in the mindset. Just like he said, firstly, those of us who are currently in the agriculture sector, and that is one way we're able to convince people who are not in the sector to venture here because they don't. It's like most people don't really know what goes on in the sector. They look from a distance and then they say, okay, I can't go there because of these challenges. So by changing that narrative, we're able to promote agriculture, or we're able to make people get interested. And also, when we talk about agriculture, like I said earlier, many people think of agriculture as the old man's job, or agriculture should be done by someone who's got nothing else to do, or things like that. But what most people don't understand is that there are other careers or other pathways that someone can take in agriculture. So it's not only farming, there are a lot of things. For example, in terms of fertilizers, the example that he gave, that is also a pathway. If someone is interested in sciences and they would love to study science, they can take a pathway which leads them to being the people making those fertilizers. There's research and development, researching on solutions to the problems that farmers are facing. So like there's a lot more that can be done. It's not only being in the farm like most people look at it. So if we begin
Okay.
bringing out these other pathways that are in agriculture that people can take, people become interested. And if these pathways can be taught to young people while in schools, even in primary schools, so that as they are growing up, they are seeing all these things, then it will be easier for them when they reach a certain stage, when they're done with their high school, they're about to go to university, they can begin taking pathways that lead to agriculture. So it's all about that advocating for agriculture, showing them the reason why we really need to venture into the sector, because we're talking about feeding a growing population. How are we going to feed if we're not venturing into agriculture? So it's all about that shift.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Usena,
Yeah.
ladies don't like to work with soil. Ladies don't want to hear agriculture. You being a beautiful lady coming from where you are, how can you change the mindsets of other beautiful ladies like yourself to venture into
Uh,
agriculture?
okay. I think I said that earlier. Like, we need to promote agriculture more. Promotion. We need to promote agriculture. We need to go to school. We need to talk. Like, go to school, talk to the students. Go to the primary schools, talk to the pupils, let them know. Let them know that you are proud of what you are doing. You are a proud farmer. Let everybody know that you're a farmer and you're proud of it. Like every day I post most of anytime I go out for work, I go for any extension work. I make sure that I post myself. I post every picture. I let everybody know. I let the world see that okay, I'm proud of where I am. I'm proud of what I'm doing. So we need to be proud of what we are doing. We need to put a smile even through the struggles. smile, post a picture, post it. It motivates people when they see it. Wow, this person is, I love this man. I want to do like this. I want to be like this. So we need to do more of promotion of agriculture than just sitting, just talking like, okay, we want this to be like this. We need to advocate for it. We need to make it come to existence. We need to push it. So anything that is going to be great, they fight. There are lots of fights. Even before gaining independence as a country, you fought for it. So why can't we fight for what we want? That we want agriculture to stand, we want it to stay, we want everybody to see the goodness in this thing. So we have to fight for it. We have to push for it. We have to promote it. So that's just it. We have to meet them, convince them, let them know the needs, let them know the importance of agriculture, let them know the importance of course they are studying, let them know the importance, let them know the use, let them know the value of what they want to venture into, or let them know more about agriculture so that it will brighten their mind and they like accept it like this is something I would like to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hosseina. So
Yeah.
officially, we've bring the conversation to an end. We've spoken a lot, but we'll still take final words from our speaker. So Husseina, you start with us. A minute or 30 seconds, final words to our listeners, and then the youths out there.
Okay. Dear listeners, thank you for taking out your time to connect with us, to give us the listening ears to hear what we want to say. We want to motivate you that in every areas of sector you are coming from, we want to let you know that agriculture is a key of every country. Agriculture is a key.
Thank you. Tulisha, your final words to the youths out there and to our listeners.
Yeah, I just want to say, in line with the point that was mentioned by Jaden, let's read a lot, let's seek, let's research, let's look for these opportunities all over the places, online. Let's do a lot of research because there are a lot of opportunities out there that are available for us young people. Even in the agriculture sector, there are a lot of opportunities, but these opportunities won't come to you unless you go out there and look for them. And I would like to mention 3 platforms that you should look out. You should follow on their social medias because there are usually opportunities there. So there's the next generation agriculture impacts network. There's the Generation Africa, which is right in Africa, and then the Moonshot platform. So I'm gonna type these in the chat as well. You can look out, follow these platforms. There are always opportunities there for young people in terms of funding opportunities and different opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Tulisha. Jaden, your final words.
To start, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the little that I know with my fellow mates, and then also to thank everyone who took time out of their busy schedule to be here with us this evening to discuss a wonderful topic that's problems that the youth face in agriculture and how we can navigate through. And then I'll end by saying that just as we've spoken a lot, but then we should just remember that we should believe in ourselves. One thing that we should always know and always keep in mind is that once we set our mind towards something that we want to do this, we shouldn't listen to what people are saying. We should believe in ourselves, go ahead, do very good research and then network, get into business with people who are already in the industry you are venturing into. They will push you on, they will give you the guidelines, they'll give you the steps to take. They'll give you every step to take when every step to take when you hit any roadblock. They'll show you how to navigate your way around them. And then also we should try not to limit ourselves to what we know alone. We should always seek to learn more. That's, I think, the best advice I'll give to myself and also my fellow mates, that we should always be open to learn. Because education doesn't end with, let's say, university or your postgrad or your master's or PhD. Once you learn, there's always time for you to learn, unlearn, and then relearn whatever thing you learned. So that would be the only thing that I'll tell myself and then my fellow mates who are on here. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much speakers. In fact, we've heard a lot, and I'm sure everybody that took a minute or two of his or her time to join us is not disappointed. And so we are wrapping up. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the AgriSpark Show brought to you by AgriSpark Ghana. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on X, and then we're also on YouTube at AgriSpark Ghana. Kindly connect with us. Let's create a community that will spark the youth interest. Let's create sense of value for youths that are into agriculture, and I believe that is the way to go. To you who did the listening, in fact, I really appreciate your time that you spend with us, and to our speakers, we are so much grateful for the words that you've shared with us. In fact, we are going to connect with ourselves to make sure that we are making the best out of your time, our time, and then also exploring all the opportunities out there. Thank you so much. Officially, the show has ended.